one of the difficulties for anybody who is trying to discover their own inner story mechanism is that most of the educational systems teach them not to do it. They teach them there's a prescriptive list of the things you have to do. They almost teach you like you're supposed to write in linear order, or these are the checkpoints that you have to do, otherwise you're no good. I think Sid Fields has damaged thousands of writers because he's put these forms out as if that's how you create. And I think the studio system also teaches you to do pastiches. You know, well, last week we had a show where this thing happened, so therefore we want it in this one. Well, that's like going to a party and finding they got a great toilet and then sticking one in every room. It's like, no, there's an inner purpose for a story, and it tells itself because you're dealing with a character's journey and not because you're suddenly putting a lot of different elements on. So I think there are people, far more people out there, and authors usually, who are writing fiction are able to get to these places much more easily than people who are writing scripts, because the script mechanism is a group therapy for the people who are monitoring it. And they're usually people who are scared of losing their jobs. They're people who don't actually know how to do it. And so they're doing it from the outside in, instead of saying, okay, you're the creative person, here's the problems we want to solve. They're going, well, we want you to do this, and this, and this. And in Hollywood, then they fire you and you take the blame for their ideas. So I think there are a lot of really beautiful and creative writers in Hollywood, but I think there's also a lot of people who are misled by a system that is trying to do its best, but hasn't really learned the fundamental purposes and way stories work. And I honestly think stories are there to demonstrate character change. And if you demonstrate character change in a story, the external story is there to support it. And very often we don't see that. The Hollywood movies don't understand that we're there to learn from a character who has a flaw or a failing or a challenge, and we need to watch them strategize to get to the end goals of actually accomplishing and going through the belly of the beast, as Joseph Campbell said, where all the fundamentals of their lives crashed because they couldn't change their prejudices, their broken scripts, and then they have to invent themselves to complete their own journey. And we're vesting ourselves in every conflict, every strategy, every failing, every nuance of trying to find courage as they go for those goals. And we're depressed when they fail, and we're cheered by the fact they pick themselves up. But we're also picking ourselves up in our subconscious using our mirror neurons, which are the pieces that reflect emotions and physicalities inside our brain as we watch other people. And those things are processing like wild when we're watching other people do this. And they're also processing like wild when we're reading books that are fictional. So we're highly engaged in character, but I think most of the systems are teaching external structure.